Okay, today we will discuss this quiz mass weighted density topic. We will start from MCQs portion. Question number one says a helium balloon is tied to a pan balance. A metal block of mass 100 gram is placed on the balance. This metal block, its mass is 100 gram. The reading on the balance is 91 gram. It should be 100 gram. So why is this 91 gram on this screen? It is because of this helium balloon. This helium balloon is going upward. It means it forcing this towards top, yeah, upward. So which statement can be deduced from this experiment? So 91 gram means the resultant downward force of top balance is 0.91 gram. So if we convert this mass into weight, W is equal to mg. So what is m here? 91 gram. So it can be converted into kgs by dividing it by 1000. So it will be 0.091 gram kgs. Now put this value 0.091 multiplied by 10. So you can see here this will be 0.91 newtons. So that is why option D is correct here. Next question number 2. The diagram shows 4 blocks of different metals. Each block has a mass of 12 gram. Which metal has the largest density? So first of all, we will calculate the volume of each block. Volume of this block will be 2 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 1 equals 2 centimeter cube. Whereas volume of this will be 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, length into width into height. So it will be 4 centimeter cube. Next one, its volume will be 3 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 1, 3 centimeter cube. And fourth one, 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, 6 centimeter cube. As we know that mass is same for all of these blocks. So the largest density will have lowest volume. So which block has lowest volume? This one. That is why A option is correct. Clear? Because density is equal to mass over volume. So to achieve the largest density, the volume should be minimum. So in part A or in option A, the volume is minimum. That is why option A is selected. Question number 3. Student measures the volume of a cork. This cork, you can see. We put some water into the measuring cylinder like this diagram 1, and then one glass ball. This glass ball in diagram 2. He puts the cork and then a second identical glass ball into a water as shown. Actually, he put another glass ball because cork's density is lower than the density of the water. So it will float on the water. It won't sink into the water. So to make it sink into the water, this glass ball has been inserted after it. Clear? So diagram 1 shows the first water level. This is water level, diagram number 1. Diagram 2 shows the water level after one glass is added. Diagram show when second glass ball added and a cork as well. So what is the volume of cork? So it is very easy. First of all, we should know the volume of a single glass ball. So it will be, you can write here volume of each ball equals 60 minus 50, 10 centimeter cube. So now you can calculate the total volume of water plus 2 balls. So it will be 2 balls means 2 multiplied by 10. And what was the water volume? 50. So it will be 20 plus 50 is 70 centimeter cube. Now the volume of cork will be this reading 100 minus 70. 30 centimeter cube is the answer. So option A was correct. Clear? Question number 4. Which object has the greatest weight? So weight is equal to mg. So you can apply this formula in all of these options to get the weight and then select the option that has greatest weight. Clear? So this formula will apply on this. So weight will be equal to, actually we are applying this formula mg. So m is given, this is m, and this is g, gravitational field strength. So calculate 10 multiplied by 15 gives you 150. In the second, weight will be 15 into 13 gives you 195. Third one, 20 multiplied by 9, 180. And last one, 15 to 3, 150. So you can see here B option should be selected because it has the greatest volume. Number 5. A body of mass m has a weight w in location where the gravitational field strength is small g. So which statement about this quantity is correct? M and w are both forces. Wrong. M is mass. Mass are both vector quantities. Wrong, because mass is scalar quantity. M and w are related by the equation w is equal to m. Yes, this one is correct. Because if we manipulate this equation, w is equal to mg, this can be written as g is equal to w over m. And option D is also incorrect because it says mass and weight have same unit. It is incorrect because mass has unit kgs, whereas weight's unit is newtons. Number 6. The gravitational field strength on Earth is greater than the gravitational field strength on the moon. The Earth has an atmosphere, but moon doesn't. Clear? Atmosphere mean it has air resistance, whereas moon doesn't have that air resistance. Which speed time graph represents the motion of light ball? Light ball mean just ball made of some plastic. Drop from a great height near the surface of the Earth and near the surface of the moon. As it is, the ball is lighter, so because of the air resistance, the acceleration of the ball should decrease to 0 with the passage of time. Okay? So whereas in the moon there is no air resistance, so the gravitational acceleration should remain constant. So which diagram shows the Earth where acceleration decreasing and at the moon acceleration should be constant? So option C is correct. You can see the acceleration decreasing on Earth, whereas acceleration remains constant on moon, because we know that gradient of a speed time graph gives you the acceleration. So here moon gradient of the graph is constant, whereas this gradient is decreasing to 0. So that is why option C is correct. Number 7, diagram shows an empty rectangular box and the same box filled with liquid. The box has a mass of 60 gram when empty. Clear? When filled with liquid. The total mass of the box and the liquid is 300 grams. The density of the liquid is this. So what is the volume of the liquid in the box? So as we know that density is equal to mass over volume. So actually we need to calculate the volume. Volume will be equal to mass over density. So what is the mass of the liquid? It will be 300 minus 60, and density of the liquid is 1.2. Solve it. So it gives you 250 gram per centimeter cube. So which option is correct? C option. Next, question number 8. An object tends to keep moving with the same speed and in the same direction due to a certain property. Same speed, same direction. The object also has weight due to an action of a field. We knew that that field is known as gravitational field. So what is the name of the property and what is the name of the field? Tends to keep. So this is actually the property of mass inertia, or mass. And similarly, the field is known as gravitational field. That is why option B is correct. Number 9. A student uses a measuring cylinder and a balance to find the density of oil. The diagram shows the arrangement used, which calculations gives the density of oil. So density is equal to mass over volume. So what is the mass of oil? Obviously it would be M2 minus M1, and volume of oil is this V. So M2 minus M1 over V is the density of oil. So option D is correct. Number 10. Two cylinders are made of same metals. Both cylinders have the same cross-sectional area, but one is longer than the other. So it means length, there is a difference in length. Which quantity is the same for both cylinders? As both cylinders made of same material, same metal, so the density should be equal. A option is correct. Mass cannot be equal because the length of cylinder 2 is greater. Similarly, resistance, we know that resistance depends on the conductor length. So if the conductor length is higher, the resistance will be higher as well. So resistance cannot be same. And what about
यार
volume?
मैच क्यों नहीं हो सकता?
Because the length of cylinder 2 is greater. So obviously its mass should be higher. Similarly, volume as well. Volume is actually that space covered by an object. So clearly cylinder 2 is covering more space. So that is why option D is also incorrect. Density remains constant because it is the same material. Okay, section number 2, theory section. Figure 2.1 shows a raft floating on water. A force of 20,000 Newton acts on the raft in the direction of the arrow shown. So actually this force is going downward, or pointing downward direction. So the name of a given force, obviously it will be weight. Downward direction, weight. This force, weight is a pulling force towards the center of the earth. So on earth, downward direction is actually towards the center of the earth. Calculate the mass of the raft. So weight is known, which is force. This force is known as weight. So weight is known, and we also know that gravitational field and G is equal to 10. So we can find the mass. W is equal to mg, and if we manipulate this equation, it will be m is equal to W over G. So what is W here? 20,000. G is 10. So answer will be 2000 kg. Clear? Let me save it. All right. Question number 2. A student measures the mass of a, sorry, shows a block of figure shows a block of wood. Student measures the mass of block. He then measures the length of each side as shown in the figure. So state the name of the measuring instrument used by the student. So first of all, he need to measure the mass. To measure the mass, the student can use beam balance or electronic balance. So I'm writing here the electronic balance, more accurate. What about second thing, which is volume? So to calculate the volume, a student needs to calculate to measure these lengths, and each length is 10 centimeter, 5 centimeter, and 5 centimeter each. So I think meter rule or half meter rule can be used here to measure these lengths. Calculate the volume of a block of wood. So volume is equal to length into width into height. Volume is equal to length into width into height. So what is length here? 10, width is 5, and height is 5 as well. 10 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5. So it gives you 2500, sorry, 250 centimeter cube. So answer will be 250. The block of wood shown in the figure 2.1 has a mass of 200 grams. So calculate the density. So you can see the density should be calculated in gram per centimeter cube. So you don't need to convert into kgs. So we use density formula. Density is equal to mass over volume. So what is mass here? 200 gram. And volume we have just calculated in the previous part, 250. So 200 divided by 250 gives you the density, which is 0.8 gram per centimeter cube. So write here this answer. Next, the table shows the densities of 5 liquids. Number 1, alcohol 0.75, freon 1.37, glycerol 1.13, petrol 0.72, seawater 1.02. So indicate the liquid in which a block of wood will float by placing tick in the. So it means we will select those liquid that has greater density than this block. So 0.8, this has a greater than 0.8, this has a density greater than 0.8, and this one as well. Okay, the last question, question number 3. A student wishes to find the volume of a piece of wood of irregular shape. Her experiment required the use of small brass object of mass 200 gram. Calculate the volume of brass object. The density of this is this. So mass is given, density is given, so we can find the volume. Density is equal to mass over volume. So what is volume? Volume will be equal to mass over density. Now inserting the values here, mass is 200 gram. As density is gram per centimeter cube, so you should write mass in grams instead of kgs. And density is 8.4. Calculate this value, 200 divided by 8.4. So it gives you 23.81 centimeter cube. Okay, this answer I have written is in actually in four significant figures, and uh, and if you see the values that you have used in your calculation, they consist of maximum two significant figures. This answer should be converted to significant figure as well, so it will be 24 centimeter cube. E. To find the volume of a piece of wood, the student has a measuring cylinder, a supply of water, and a brass object. So why is using brass object? 8.4, ठीक है. Actually, wood's density is lower than the water, so it will float on the water. So to make it sink, we need some material which can make it, which has a density greater than the water. So that is why we are using this brass object. So to find the volume of a piece of wood, the student has a measuring cylinder, a supply of water, and brass object. You have just calculated the volume of that object. The piece of wood and the brass object are small enough to be placed in the measuring cylinder. The piece of wood doesn't sink in water, so just why obviously its density is uh, lower than the density of water. Its density is lower than the density of water. Describe what the student does to find the volume of piece of wood, stating the measurement that she makes and any calculations required. So first of all, we will pour some enough water in a measuring cylinder
सर उसने
submerged.
कहा ऊपर के वाटर सिंक नहीं, जो पीस ऑफ वुड है वो सिंक नहीं हो रहा वाटर में, तो फिर हम वाटर क्यों ऐड करेंगे? फिर हम उसके मीटर रूल के साथ उसकी मेजरमेंट नहीं ले लेंगे?
नहीं बताता हूँ क्या करना है. Cylinder, measuring cylinder, actually it is not an not a regular object, it is irregular object, so we cannot use those calculations. To completely merge both brass and wood objects, clear? Then note the volume of water alone, that is V1. Then pour brass object into the water, and then note new volume level, that is V2. Okay. Then pour wood object into the water such that it is below the brass object. Clear? इसके नीचे होना चाहिए. It is below it is under the. Then not new volume level V3. Volume of wood object will be equal to V3 minus V1, sorry, V2. So you can remove this as well. No need to use this V1. Yeah. So this was last question. So it is end of this discussion.